is an awful, awful team down there. And they're going into, quite frankly, the best defense in the NFL. They're going to lose, and they're going to lose huge. The Sunday night game, we've got the Bears versus the Steelers. Don't overthink it. A lot of people are out there saying the Steelers, their season's on the brink. They're tough defense. This is a prime for the upset. No, it's not. They're a diminished team with no offensive weapons besides Roethlisberger. Their best offensive lineman's hurt, and their defense hasn't gotten a turnover all year. The only team that has that to say is the Oakland Raiders. Yeah, the only two teams in the league that has not forced a turnover. Now, they'll probably get their first turnover with Cutler, the way he throws, but the fact is, the Bears' offense is better, their defense is still scoring points, and the Steelers just suck. So, don't bet on them. Bears are going to win, and they're probably going to win by a touchdown. And then the final game, the Monday night snoozer of the week, we've got the Raiders at the Broncos. Again, do I even need to say it? Broncos are going to crush the Raiders. Although, I wouldn't play the Broncos defense. They don't get pressure on the quarterback, and the Raiders quarterback Terrell Pryor is mobile. He should be able to put up some fantasy points for you. But as far as overall score, wouldn't surprise me if Peyton Manning throws another 4 touchdowns against that Raider D. So don't go with that. Well, and those are my picks for week 3. If you've got any comments on it, give me a call, 630-534-0779, or send me a tweet at the CSBS. And segueing from week 2 into the Fantasy 5. All right, this week on our fantasy update, going to have your 5 startums and 5 situms. First off, situm, Ben Roethlisberger, quarterback for the Steelers. Just got done talking about the Bears Steelers. It's a team with a hurt offensive line, mediocre skill position players, and going against one of the best defenses in the NFL. And the Bears feature 2 cornerbacks that made the Pro Bowl last year. You got Peanut Tillman, who leads the galaxy in forced fumbles, and you have the other corner on the other side, excuse me, who led the league in interceptions last year. Yeah. Tim Jennings will probably pick off Roethlisberger again. Tillman will probably force a fumble when the Steelers try to run. I wouldn't play anybody on the Steelers, but especially Roethlisberger. He's in for a long night. Tell you who to start, though. E.J. Manuel, quarterback for the Bills. He's going against the Jets. Now, the Jets have looked better than they are, but that's because they've been playing weak teams. They pulled out a last-ditch win against the Buccaneers in Week 1, but that's only because of the stupid penalty at the end of the game by Levante David. Without that, they're 0-2 instead of 1-1. And then they lost an ugly game to the Patriots. They suck. E.J. Manuel is getting better every week. Picked up his first win last week against the Panthers, and the Panthers are a much better team than the Jets. I'd go with E.J. Manuel. Who are we sitting? Maurice Jones-Drew, running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's a crappy team that is going to be playing behind a lot. And they're playing the Seahawks, the best defense in the league. If he gets 15 yards, I'd be surprised. You're not getting many points with him. He's not scoring any touchdowns. Stay away from him. I know in fantasy the rule is you always play your talent. Not this week. He's not going to get you squat. Who do you start instead of him? D'Angelo Williams, running back for the Panthers. He seems to have found a fountain of youth, and after a past couple of years of really disappointing performances, he's starting to look like the D'Angelo Williams of old, especially since Jonathan Ogden is injured with a foot injury all year. He's not sharing the carries anymore. So against the Panthers, he plays for the Panthers, against the Giants, who have been struggling on defense mightily this year, he should be able to put up some decent yardage, maybe even get you a touchdown or 2. So start him instead. Sticking with running backs, sit DeMarco Murray. That Rams defensive front is solid. They've spent a lot of draft picks on that defensive line, and they play like it. DeMarco Murray, in addition to that, has not been the great player that he was a couple of years ago before he suffered all those injuries. He's only averaging about 3 yards per carry or so, and he's just not getting the job done. Romo's going to be passing all over the field trying to exploit Janoris Jenkins and Cortland Finnegan's over aggressiveness, but they're not going to be running the ball effectively, so sit him. Some guys to start, though. Anquan Bolden, coming off of a terrible week 2 where he caught one pass for 7 yards. This week he's going against the Colts. The Colts are not the Seahawks. We discussed this earlier. Their defense is not that good, and their pass defense is iffy at best. Expect Bolden to hook up with Kaepernick again, get some big yardage out of there, probably a couple touchdowns. And this goes without saying, but start A.J. Green. You were all going to start him anyway. All of you guys out there who have A.J. Green. He's one of the most talented receivers, and like I said, you almost always start your talent. But especially this week, going against a weak Packers defense, and in a game that's going to turn into a shootout. We're looking at maybe 170 yards and 2 touchdowns from A.J. Green this week. Receivers to sit, Marcus Colston for the Saints. We talked about that matchup earlier between the Cardinals and the Saints. Yes, it's in New Orleans, but the thing is, Drew Brees spreads the ball around. It's not uncommon for him to hit 8 different receivers during a game. And with Marcus Colston going to be blanketed by Patrick Peterson, one of the best corners in the league, he's not going to be forcing the ball into Colston. He's going to hit Lance Moore. He's going to hit Jimmy Graham. He's going to hit Darren Sproles. He's not going to take the risk of having Peterson intercept it and take it to the house just to get it to Colston. Colston's going to be a bad play this week, so start somebody else. But don't start Eric Decker. We talked about the Broncos going to be crushing the Raiders and how Peyton Manning's probably going to throw a lot of touchdowns. Here's the thing. The Broncos are going to get up really fast. They're going to put up points quickly. Probably a touchdown to either Welker or to Demaryius Thomas. Decker has been struggling the past couple weeks. He had a bit of a better week 2 than a week 1. But as soon as those Broncos are up, they're going to start running the ball more and more to try and keep it out of the hands of Terrell Pryor. Because as I said, Terrell Pryor is a mobile quarterback. The Broncos, while their defense has improved, it's completely reliant on the blitz to get any pressure on the quarterback. Their defensive front, without Von Miller, without Elvis Dumervil, is not good enough to pressure the quarterback without blitzing. The problem with blitzing is it leaves open options. And when you've got a mobile quarterback like Terrell Pryor, he can make plays happen with his feet, extend the play, what he's got to do. It's still not going to be a close game, at least I personally don't think, but that Denver D is probably going to give up a lot of yards and a few scores, and Eric Decker's not going to get a lot of points because as soon as the Broncos get ahead, they're going to go into run mode to keep it out of Terrell Pryor's hands. So don't go with him. And those are my 5 sit-ems, start-ems. I do have one more stardom for you, and it's kind of cheating because I've got 2. The Vikings and Seahawks defenses. We talked about this earlier. Vikings are going up against a Browns team that just traded away their best offensive player and are starting their 3rd-string quarterback, and they're in the Metrodome. Start the Vikings. It's going to be a massacre. And the Seahawks, they're at home against the Jaguars. They'll probably have the highest score of the week of any player or team. And just another quick tip. I know we've exceeded the 5, but it's okay. It's my show. I can do what I want. Go with Sam Bradford against the Cowboys. There's a lot of leagues where he's not drafted, so you can probably still get him off of waiver wires. He is looking good this year. I mean, with the addition of Jared Cook and Tavon Austin, he's found a new set of comfort with his skill position players. So, start Bradford. And those are your sit-em stardoms for the week. Now, back to the Browns. I promised you Browns fans we were going to talk about them, and as I said, my dearest condolences. Is there a way we can find the franchise for torturing that many loyal fans? The fact that the fans haven't completely boycotted this franchise is baffling to me, because with the amount of incompetence shown ever since the team has been reinstated into the NFL in the 90s, it's been embarrassing. They have 1 playoff appearance and no playoff wins. This week, they are set to start their 19th starting quarterback since 1999. 19. When I read that stat, I tried to mentally in my head try and think of all who started. I only got about 10. And here they are. And if you recognize all these names, then you are a superior human being than I am. Here they were. Tim Couch, Remember that bust of a draft pick? I often wonder what would have happened if he would have gone to a decent team with decent coaching, because he had talent. I mean, he had a couple of games where he threw for over 400 yards. He was not devoid of talent. I wonder what could have happened under a good franchise with a good coach. Ty Detmer. I don't think anybody really picked him to do much. He was picked because of a Heisman and a great college career. Doug Peterson. No idea who that is. None. Spurgeon Wynn. Again, I have no clue who that man is. Jeff Garcia. Jeff Garcia is kind of an interesting one. You know, he left San Francisco. He played a little bit for the Lions, did okay. Played for the Browns, didn't do squat. Then went to the Eagles, where injuries forced him to play a few games, and he played great. Again, goes to show coaching and system. Jeff Garcia still had some games left in him. Browns misused him. Luke McCown. Physical specimen. Just never had quite a handle on it. Trent Dilfer. They overpaid for a quarterback that took his team to the Super Bowl riding his defense. Trent Dilfer was never that good. Game manager is the best you could say about him, and I think that's being overly generous. So the fact that they got him at all was, quite frankly, stupid on their part. Charlie Fry. Solid veteran who's bounced around the league. Derek Anderson, the big-footed wonder. Most notable for that 10-6 season he led the Browns to and just missing the playoffs. But then he quickly reverted to Derek Anderson and showed why he's not a starter in this league. Brady Quinn, the overhyped quarterback taken in the first round by the Browns and who's been relegated to career backup. Kelly Holcomb. Remember him? He was the guy that Browns fans loved because he would come in after Tim Couch would get benched and he would put up some great stats and try to lead these comebacks. But then every time he actually got the start, he choked it away. So Kelly Holcomb was on there. Ken Dorsey. Don't really know him. Bruce Grodkowski. I know who he is. He's a career backup, solid player, but I'd forgotten about him. Jake Delhomme. Yeah, remember after leading the Panthers to the Super Bowl, he completely fell apart, lost his confidence, lost his fastball, went to the Browns, and died in obscurity. He's still alive. I use died metaphorically, so don't be judging me. But, hey, he was there. He didn't do anything. Colt McCoy. I like Colt McCoy, but he's not on the team anymore. Never really given an even chance because he never had anybody to throw to. Quite frankly, when your best weapon is Greg Little, the human drop machine, you don't have a chance. Seneca Wallace, another career backup that they gave the starting job. Thad Lewis. I don't know who Thad Lewis is. Browns fans, maybe you can help me out. Send me a tweet at the CSBS because I don't know who he is. And then Brandon Whedon. Yeah, you know, the 27-year-old first-round rookie draft pick by the Browns. Good one, Browns. Yeah. And now they're starting the 27-year-old Hoyer. He had his first start for the Cardinals in 2002, and this will be his second start. Prior to last year, where he played for the Cardinals, he spent 3 seasons as Tom Brady's backup. In the last 9 months, he has been waived by the Patriots, the Steelers, and the Cardinals. That's who your starter is this weekend, Browns fans. And again, my apologies. And you know what? Shame on the Browns organization. They do not deserve the loyalty that has been shown by their fans.
What is your major malfunction, numbnuts?
In addition to the complete futility at drafting a quarterback, they've just been futile as an organization. I mean, they traded away Trent Richardson. Oh my God, I'm getting mad just thinking about it. Because, first of all, this guy is a franchise running back. I truly believe that. I have written articles and talked on this show many a time on how he is a breakout star. And this works out for him. He's going to a team that knows how to do an offensive, balanced attack. Now, he's going against the 49ers his first week with the team, to his detriment, but still going to a much better team where his talents will be properly utilized. So good for him. But you know how the team informed Trent Richardson of his trade? They didn't. They didn't tell him.
What is your major malfunction, numbnuts?
Trent Richardson got a call from one of his friends. Dude, heard you got traded. What? What are you talking about? Yeah, they just said you got traded. Get off my phone. No, turn on the radio. Trent Richardson turns on his radio. Trent Richardson traded to the Colts for their first round pick. Well, that's just a lack of class by the organization. But here's the other thing. You spent the 3rd overall pick in the 2012 draft on Trent Richardson. You drafted him with the expectation that you're going to build your offense around him. This